Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at seductionpower.com. Alright, so since I'm supposed to say something about your pain and suffering, that's why this video is here. I've been trying to learn this new way of marketing and selling my business. So that I'm supposed to say, struggling with women? Well, here, I've got the answer. So you know how all that stuff goes. So today's video essentially is kind of off the cuff. It's three points or thoughts that you probably never realized or never knew about. And I learned these in either psychology class. The first one was from psychology class. The other two, I don't remember where I learned them from. Probably a book. Okay, so take a look around. If you're listening to me right now, you are listening to a product that is literally part of evolution that was pushed by females, by women. From carpets to cars to bolts to nuts to screwdrivers to electricity to microwaves to wine bottles to glasses to cups to Tupperware to dishwashers to anything and everything that isn't other than dirt, plants, or air, women pushed it. It's because of women we have it. Now let me explain, because you're probably going to get pissed off. Here's what I mean. So essentially, cavemen were just very content beings. Sincerely, if we eat, we feel good. If we have sex, we feel good. If we sleep, we feel good. That's all we need, and I'm not kidding. About the only thing a caveman actually needs, literally, is a cave or somewhere to sleep. Other than that, he really doesn't give a shit. Oh man, there was something funny. Another thing that I teach men is that we literally grunt. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? We literally grunt. There's that really rich guy. I can't remember his name. He's all over YouTube's. He's older, probably 50 some years old. I can almost think of his name right now. And he's always about buying and selling properties. And he's talking like this. And it's like, I'm like, literally, if you kind of tune out, like he's literally talking like a caveman. And women laugh and make fun of this. They're like, men still talk like cavemen. And we fucking do. Grant Cardone. Yeah, a commercial of his came on YouTube today. I hadn't seen him anywhere for a while. I don't know if he kind of faded out for a while, but man, I was like, who the hell is this? It's like, dude, just literally like a caveman. So I'm not knocking him at all. That's not one point. But it just kind of caught me off guard. I was like, man, if that guy, as rich as he is, talks like a caveman, then most men do. And most men do talk like cavemen. For the most part, we haven't changed. And I mean that. Even today, we would still be in caves if it wasn't for women. Because of women, we have carpets. We have air conditioning, thank God. Because of women, we have heaters, we have ovens, we have microwaves, we have grocery stores, we have 7-Elevens, we have beer, we have all kinds of stuff. If it wasn't for women, we just wouldn't have it. And you're probably getting pissed going, what are you talking about? Well, watch this. Watch the dynamics. Alright, so this one is I did learn in psychology class. So there was a study done, actually quite a few studies, not just one. They still do it. The study is this. So women, they say, literally were built to raise children. You're like, well, what do you mean? Well, women can deal with the wah, 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 just the constant crying and the baby just going on and on and on. Now, they did a study, and the difference was freaking night and freaking day. It was unbelievable. Now, I don't remember the numbers. I'm not even going to look it up, but it was literally just as bad. It was something like 11 days or 15 days or something. A woman could deal with a baby crying constantly throughout the day. It took her about 2 weeks or so before she started to have an emotional breakdown. For men, it was something like 3 hours or 9 hours or some ridiculously short period of time before we're losing our shit, crying and smashing shit, going, I can't do this. So the difference is night and day. Now here's the deal. With something in the women's brain, I forget what it is. I'm not even going to look it up because otherwise this video would go on forever. Is there's something in their brain that was designed to deal with babies crying and stress and stuff like that a lot longer than men. Men were just not designed to deal with the wah, wah, wah. Like, you cannot handle that. We just don't deal with it. We were not designed to rear the babies, the infants. So I should say raise them when they're a very young age. So the female brain was designed to deal with yelling and screaming and bitching and moaning and complaining and crying. Like, they deal with it a lot better. It's almost like it's just a day at the beach. It's not a big deal. It really takes a long time for it to even bother her. It just doesn't bother them. For a long time. Now, when it comes to auditory noises, that's very true. But here's kind of a different side. When it comes to physically dealing with the harsh weather and the realities of life, physically, women are not as adept. Whereas, I'm thinking of this guy. There's this guy in town. He's a homeless dude. That dude will sleep anywhere. I mean, he's like a caveman. He's got this big old orange beard, big old orange hair, and he just kind of sleeps anywhere. And you could tell the guy's comfortable. Like, he just does not give a shit. You know, the funny thing, he has that look in his eyes like a caveman. He's not that old. I'm assuming he's around 30, 34 years old at most. Maybe even a little bit younger. But he's just kind of like this caveman walking around doing his thing, getting food. Like, he's a happy camper, man. Yeah, he looks like this caveman. It's the same expression. A little bit, not quite as intense, though. Alright, so here's the deal. For the most cavemen, because, okay, when you're in your right brain, you can really feel the weather, okay? You feel the weather, you smell better, food tastes better, everything is more more intense, okay? Because you're tuned into your five senses. Now, here's the thing. Men, we're left brain creatures. The further we go in the left brain, the less pain we feel. We don't feel pain as much. Food isn't as food to us is just, it's survival, it's sustenance, you know, like you need enough protein to build muscle. Like, other than that, we don't really give a shit, okay? I mean, literally, cavemen would eat half rotten meat. I'm not kidding. But the cave woman, oh no, she wouldn't do that, because she could smell it, she could taste it. Because the further you go into the right brain, the more you're tuned into your five senses. So when it came to the physical world, women for the most part needed things to be better. Like a caveman, barefoot, right? Walking around with his nubbies. It could be wintertime, he doesn't give a shit. It could be snow, it could be ice on the ground. He doesn't give a shit. But the cave woman did. She felt the cold, and it really, really bothered her a lot. Now, this is a key important point here. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, if it wasn't for the women doing something, we would not have homes, couches, apartments, televisions, football games. You know, we wouldn't have all these luxuries of life. It's because of women. Now, I'm not necessarily congratulating them or saying, oh yeah, they're good, because, well, this part you're not going to like. So there was a movie back in the 80s, and it's called Quest for Fire. This was a pretty big movie that everyone saw. It was kind of goofy and funny, but there was kind of a lot of serious and pain, you know, involved in the movie. And there was this one scene where this caveman snuck up behind this woman that was getting some water, you know, and like at a pond or a lake, and she's at the very edge of the water, and he sneaks up behind her and starts fucking her in the ass. And I was at my friend's parents, and I think we were in like 8th grade or 9th grade, and it embarrassed the shit out of me. My friend's dad just laughing his ass off, and so was his mom. I'm like, oh my god, my face was beet red. His dad looked at me, he started laughing even harder. So I don't know if this scene was in it, but I got it from this movie, and at least the idea of it. Because essentially what the cave woman would do is they would bitch and moan and complain. And so essentially they were cold, and the caveman's, oh Jesus Christ. So one day he's looking for food and he's walking around, and he finds this cave, and he walks in like, oh, okay, cool. And he notices, oh, there's no wind in here. Oh, it's a little bit warmer. It's not cold like out there. And he came in from the rain too, so he doesn't get wet. And this is nice. And hey, I think I'd like to live here. So he gets his kids, his family, maybe a couple of his buddies, and say, hey, let's go live in the cave. And they're like, okay, cool. And she's like, oh, thank you. And gives him a blowjob and has sex with him. It's amazing. She's happy. And so then, you know, he's hunting and doing his thing for the next couple of weeks, and she's bitching and moaning because she's still cold. And he's going, Jesus Christ, it's never enough. Women always want more. By the way, that's a right brain function I teach in my course, Cracked Female Code, about why women always want more. And here's the deal. You don't have to keep paying for shit and working overtime to buy more expensive homes and diamond rings or more roses or whatever. There's something that you can satisfy with your words. And if you learn how to do this, you'll never you'll never have to buy her a thing ever again. And here's the thing, she will feel completely content and happy. And if you don't do this, she's going to want more and more. And it'll be a never-ending fucking nightmare if you don't learn how to do this. So if there's one thing you want to learn how to do this so she doesn't constantly go, just bitch and moan. You buy her Ferrari. Oh, she's happy for 3 weeks, and now she wants a fucking, semi truck or whatever. So here's what happens. So, she's cold and, she's bitching and moaning, complaining. He's kind of pissed, like, well, fuck, I just got you a cave. Like, it's warmer in there. You're not out in the rain anymore, and all that. There's no wind, or at least not as much wind. So then he kills a woolly mammoth with his buddy, and they skin it, and he goes, this is kind of warm. And he notices, like, I could use this, like, as a comforter, like covers. So he skins it and gets it all, and he brings it back and carries it back, and he cuts it up in a couple pieces, big, large, like 12 foot by 12 foot pieces, and he brings it in, he lays it on the ground, and she goes, look, and she's like, oh, this is so nice. His buddy's got one, now he's got one for his kids, and now they're all comfortable and stuff, and they're all happy. Sure enough, after about 3 or 4 weeks, she starts to bitch and moan and complain. I'm cold. And he's going, oh my God, now what? So then, they kill another woolly mammoth, and he thinks, hey, I can use this as a cover to put over her. So he brings it in, and he puts her down on the original one, and he puts it over her. She's like, oh, this is warm. Oh, this is better. Thank you. And she's happy and gives him a blowjob and sex, and everything's great. So the bitching and moaning stops, and once again, as it did the other times, and he's happy and everything's good, and everything 3 or 4 weeks later, I'm cold, and so then he kills another woolly mammoth and thinks, hey, I can use this like to cover the door so the wind doesn't blow in, so then it'll make her warmer. So he brings it back, and he does that, and she's like, oh, thank you, gives him a blowjob and gives him sex, and everything is great. So about 2 or 3 months, it works pretty good. But then winter comes along. She's like, I'm cold. He's going, oh my God, what the fuck, So in Quest for Fire, they literally walked for like days. I think even like a week or something like that, or maybe weeks. And they're just traveling. And I don't remember why they were traveling, but the men and some of the teenage boys were traveling, and it was a lot of hardship and pain. I think one of the guys broke his foot, and he had to keep walking, because if you give up, you're basically going to die. And so what happened was there was a lightning strike miles off. I don't know, it was 2 miles or 10 miles, but miles off, and like, ooh, and they went over there, ooh, they grunted, they never actually talked, and they went all the way over there, and he's touched and what happened was one of the cavemen, the younger one, he grabs the fire with his bare hands, and he's screaming, and all the guys are like, they're laughing at him. Couldn't find the scene where he grabbed the fire and burned his hand, but here's one scene where they finally figured out how to make this thing. So this whole thing was, this movie was about like a 2-hour movie or 2.5-hour movie about this quest for fire, and they couldn't frickin' do it. So all I know is they finally get fire. They're coming back home. They're almost there. They meet with their wives and kids and whatever, and then this happens. So they travel all the way back, and this dumbass, he drops it in the water. So here's the deal, women have pushed men, so now, okay, so essentially the caveman gets the fire into the cave and now she's really warm. Now they can cook food. This is like elevated, like the lifestyle and health and everything. So now they're cooking the food and now they're warmer. Now they have comforters, rough comforters, but still a lot better than sleeping on dirt and rocks, right, and gravel and stuff. So life is starting to become better. Now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, women pushed men, and I mean pushed us. And let me get back to something at the beginning of this video in a second. But they pushed us to find a way to make a microwave. One day we're going to have floating microwaves that float right up to us, and they're going to get the food out of the refrigerator all by themselves, okay? All you're going to have to do is think it, and it'll do it. Like, that's how advanced we're going to become. But the reason why we have all these computers and amenities and amazing things we have now is because women will bitch and moan and bitch and moan and complain until we figure it out. So remember the study I told you about how women could deal with babies crying for a lot longer, like 9 days or 15 days or something. It could have been 21 days, but it was a long time. Whereas men, it was literally, I think it was like 12 hours or 9 hours or maybe a day and a half, but it was a really short period of time. Well, guess what? Women take advantage of this. They do it to us. They bitch, they moan, they complain, and the male brain cannot fucking deal with this. It will drive us up the wall. The way women have successfully used it is to get us to create sweaters and machines to make the sweaters and washing machines and cars and lawnmowers and pools and hot tubs and everything you can think of, high-speed rail trains and high-speed trains and all that stuff. Now, you guys think I'm joking. I'm actually not joking. There's literally psychological studies on that. And you don't. Here's the deal. If you're a guy, if you dealt with a woman for any length of time, like more than 2 or 3 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They bitch until you finally go, okay. And what happens is, on an unconscious level, you're gonna try to find a way to stop this baby from crying, meaning her. And you're going to find a way to fix whatever the hell it is that she wants. You're going to make it, you're going to create it, you're going to find it. And once you do, you give it to her and oh, you got some relief. So now there's 2 ways to go about this. Work, stress yourself out, work overtime, and buy her that better car. And then for 3 weeks, maybe if you're lucky, maybe probably realistically 2 weeks, you're going to have peace. She's going to have sex with you. She's going to cook. It's just going to be nice being around her. But then starts to come in back about the 2.5 week mark. The 3rd week, 3.5 week mark, she is full blown. Just full volume, full every moment. Everything is a problem. You didn't put the toilet seat down. Like, she's not complaining about the garbage of the toilet seat. She's pissed because she's not content. As a male, you think, well, I'm going to make sure I put the toilet seat down every day. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do this every day so she can't complain. Well, she'll find something else, because emotionally, if she's not content, trust me, you're going to hear about it. Now, the first way is to buy her more expensive things, to buy her more flowers. So now you start cooking for her. Now you start doing the dishes. Now you start fucking cleaning that. Now you're doing everything. You're working full-time and you're doing everything else. And she's still complaining. Well, all these things, cooking, cleaning, doing the dishes, buying her a more expensive car. Like my uncle, he bought my aunt a bigger home. And then it was a bigger home. And then it was his biggest home in Napa Valley in the nicest part of town. And then she divorced him. Oh yeah, but before she divorced him, then she had him buy the brand new Mustang GT 5.0. I think it was the 1985 car. It was the car to get. And he bought her that. And then he bought her a bigger diamond ring. That was the final piece. And then she divorced him and left. Now, these are all what I call, this is like the first way. This is the way that men try to meet this problem. The problem with buying her Ferrari, a bigger house, a bigger diamond ring, that's just what I call a sugar rush. It's a quick rush that only lasts for a couple days to a week, maybe 2 weeks, if you're really lucky. That's not the real way to do it. The real way to do is what I teach in my course is learning how to be emotionally grounded, number one. Number two, learning how to communicate in the internal language, which grounds her emotionally. So your energy grounds her, and then this language will ground her emotionally, and it will leave her feeling content. Here's the interesting thing. These are the women that don't need more things. They don't need you to buy more expensive this or more expensive that or flowers or what. Those things aren't what she really wanted. Those were like very super short replacements. They weren't the real deal. Every now and then you'll see this woman or young lady who's with this guy and she just doesn't care. She doesn't care if he's rich. She doesn't care if he buys her things. Nothing. Because he leaves her feeling content, and it's not the temporary kind either. So what do I mean by content? The whole reason why you want a girlfriend is because you want to feel content too. What do I mean? Whenever you have sex with a woman, you have an orgasm, boom, that chemical that's released into you, it relaxes you. It leaves you feeling completely and totally content. She can't get that through sex alone. It has to be done through the right brain language. She wants to go to the same place that you're at. She wants to have that same feeling of feeling content. You're like, well, we just had sex. Again, for women, sex alone does not leave a woman feeling content. It has to be done through the emotional system, through the right brain emotional language. So now you know why women complain so much. To get what they want. So if you're ready to master the hidden female language and transform your dating life by leaving her feeling emotionally content, hit subscribe and check the link in the description, seductionpower.com, and buy my book, Crack the Female Code. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.